What's good, y'all? It's your boy. You know what it is. Man, I'm gonna give y'all some tips on how to overcome obstacles in your life. Obstacles can definitely hinder you from moving forward, right? They can keep you from making progress. Obstacles are designed to derail your motivation. It's a funny thing how obstacles just come up at different times, but it's always at the time that's most inconvenient. Of course, it wouldn't be an obstacle if it was convenient. So how do we overcome obstacles? First, identify the obstacle. You got to identify what is the obstacle. Obstacles can come in many shapes, forms, and fashions. Obstacles can be relationships. Obstacles can be financial related, health related, substance abuse. Right? There's a lot of ways that obstacles can pop up in your life. So you got to identify what your obstacle is, and then what you have to do is you've got to prepare. You've got to lay a groundwork, a blueprint for how to overcome the obstacle. So if you know that finances is an obstacle for you, in other words, the lack of, we don't want to focus on the lack. We want to focus on how do we overcome our financial obstacle. And that could simply mean, maybe doing something out of the box. What about, you've, maybe a part-time job is not suitable for you. Maybe you have a skill set. I've talked about this before. Maybe you have a skill set that you can actually, hire yourself out to accomplish, right? Maybe you make goods. Maybe you're a good baker, right? You've got to think outside of the box because there is a need for whatever it is that you can provide, service related, but most people may not know about it. What if health is an obstacle? Again, if you are dealing with health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, you can put together a blueprint, right? It doesn't necessarily always have to start with exercising, right? I think a lot of people just go to the exercising route, but if I know that I'm dealing with certain things that could be triggered by my diet, I could begin a blueprint for, changing my diet little bit by little bit by little bit. So when you're planning the blueprint, you've identified what the obstacle is, you're planning the blueprint to overcome the obstacle, then you've got to implement that plan. You've got to implement the plan. So all of that identification, blueprint work, none of that works unless you actually begin to put it into effect. So just think about if someone is building a home, they've identified the land that they want to build on, they've got the blueprint to the T, right? They know where every electrical outlet is going to be, every water faucet, all of those things, but it doesn't make any sense unless we start to build that house. It's the same thing with your life. You got an obstacle, the only way you're going to overcome it is you actually have to make an effort to overcome the obstacle. And as you overcome obstacles, what you're going to find is just because one goes away doesn't mean another one's going to pop up. And sometimes some of us have multiple obstacles that we deal with. So that means multiple plans. Start with one. Don't try to just all of a sudden you had all these obstacles and now you're just trying to take all of them on. Let's be realistic about the approach here. Don't go from 0 to 100. Start slow. Overcome one obstacle, get it out of the way, and move on to the next. Now, I will tell you this, once you have began the process of putting, that blueprint to work, you've identified it, you got your blueprint, now you're working on it, here's what you must do. Once you overcome that obstacle, learn from that obstacle. Don't put yourself back into the same trap where that obstacle comes up again. If finances was an issue for you, I'll give you a prime example, credit. Credit is an obstacle for a lot of people. I know this because I help people rebuild credit. And one of the things that you've got to learn from that is we've identified what the problems are. We put a blueprint together to actually begin to, rebuild your credit. We put the action to work. We started, we start with the plan, right? We put it to work. And then if you did not learn from those habits that got you into bad credit, you're going to be right back into that same situation again. Hence, here's the obstacle once again. So I'm telling you guys, not because I read this, not because I heard this, because I dealt with this in my own life. You know, that's the best motivation for anybody, is that you can hear it from somebody who actually has lived this. You know, live this. When obstacles come up, man, and they always pop their head up, man, you got to identify it. Be honest. What is the obstacle? You know, put a blueprint to work. How am I going to overcome this? What tools and resources can I use to overcome this? And then be about the business. Just do it. You know, I talked on another video, man, make a decision. Decisions are huge. Don't go ask somebody else what you should do. Just do that thing, man. And then learn from that. Learn from your obstacles. Don't set yourself up for a repeat or a three-peat or a four-peat, right? Don't do that, because you've learned nothing, and all that you did before was just a waste of energy and time. All right? So listen, man, take these tips to overcoming an obstacle. Use them in your own life. They work, but you've got to be consistent, and you've got to really give it your all. Any obstacle can be overcome, okay? Man, love yourself, man. Of course, put God first in all things that we do. Love your family, man, and I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.